Hey, what's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to Get Hit with the Truth. So today we are doing the What's Next on Joe Cordina, the once again undefeated IBF super featherweight champion of the world at 130 pounds. Excuse me. As he regained the title with a hard-fought 12-round split decision win over over Shavkat Rakhimov on April 22nd on DAZN. Before we get into that, guys, if you could smash the like button, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. I really do appreciate any and all support that I can get as I try to build my channel up here. Now, back to the fight. It ended up being a pretty good fight between Cordina and Rakhimov. I mean, they went toe-to-toe. It was a really good battle. Cordina put Rakhimov down early on. And Rakhimov, you know, rallied and did the best he could, but at the end of the day, the judges came back with a very close split decision win for Cordina as he became the IBF champion for his second time. So now the big question is, what's next for Cordina? Well, the only news I've heard in that little bit of time is that Zelfa Barrett's camp came out and said that Eddie Hearn says that he's getting a crack next. We'll get into that as we run through the top 10. And discuss that as a possibility. But one thing I do know is that Cordina is not in mandatory mode because he was the mandatory. So he should have an optional defense next, and I'm sure he's going to take that. So we start with the other guys in the top 10. Remember, this top 10 was based from the beginning of the year. I'll try to throw in some of the guys that have moved into the top 10 and stuff like that. You know, just to be a little bit more accurate with the people. We start with newly crowned WBO champion Emmanuel Navarrete. This doesn't look likely. Navarrete is on a collision course with Oscar Valdez. As long as Valdez gets past Adam Lopez in their rematch that they are having on May 20th on ESPN pay-per-view, then it looks like Navarrete and Valdez are on a collision course for the summer on ESPN. So not likely to happen. Then you got Oscar Valdez. For the same reason, not likely to happen. He's fighting Adam Lopez with a clear vision of a showdown with Emmanuel Navarrete during the summer. Then there's a proposed rematch with Shavkat Rakhimov. I really think it is a possibility. I don't think it's going to be, for whatever reason, I don't think it's going to be his top priority. But I do believe that this fight could happen next. Their first fight, that fight that they had on the 22nd of April was really good. And I really think it warrants a rematch at some point. I think Rakhimov deserves that. So I definitely think it's an option. Then you got WBA champion Hector Luis Garcia. One, he's with the PBC. And two, he has a mandatory due against Lamont Roach Jr. So not likely that we're going to see these two guys lock horns. Then you got Robson Conceição, the former world title challenger. He is an ESPN top-ranked guy, awkward style. Not likely that Cordina would be cashing in to try to fight him, because, especially with him being top-ranked and Cordina being with Matchroom. Then you got newly crowned WBC champion O'Shaquie Foster. Not likely. Foster, I believe, O'Shaquie Foster's a PBC guy. And, the PBC's probably going to lock him up with somebody like that. Plus, kind of a bad style matchup for Cordina when he has options within his own promotion. So, yeah, I don't see that one happening. Then there's Lamont Roach Jr., former world title challenger. He's actually in line to fight for the WBA title against Hector Luis Garcia. So, not likely that we're going to see, Lamont Roach Jr. taking on Cordina, even though Lamont Roach is a Golden Boy guy, and it probably could be made through DAZN. But, again, not likely. Then there's Zelfa Barrett. And I think this is probably going to be the likely option. And the reason I think that is Barrett is one, he gave Shavkat Rakhimov hell back in November. He really did. It was a good fight, but he boxed well in that one and was ahead on the scorecards when, Rakhimov finally slowed him down. But I think part of that slowdown was an apparent leg injury. So I really believe that Zelfa Barrett, because it's an all United Kingdom showdown, could land the fight with Cordina next, and he might be the front runner. Then there's Roger Gutierrez, a former WBA champion. I think it could be a possibility, like an outside possibility, because Gutierrez, the last time I remember, was a Golden Boy guy. I think it's possible that Gutierrez could go straight into, could get a crack at Cordina, just for Cordina to stay, not stay busy, but to get a former champion on his resume if another fight, a bigger fight like with Rakhimov, a rematch, or a showdown with Barrett, for some reason cannot be made next. Then there is Konichi Ogawa, former world champion. It would be a rematch for Cordina. Not likely. He blasted Ogawa out in 2 rounds, and Ogawa hasn't been seen since. So not likely that Cordina and Ogawa would happen. So now, what's the most likely fight? I think there's 3 possible options and 2 very real ones, and one I'm throwing in. The first option, I think, the third option, let's start with number 3 and work to 1. I think a showdown with Roger Gutierrez is possible because, again, last time I checked, he was a Golden Boy guy, and he's a former world champion. So it'd be nice to get that cred on your resume. And it would be probably an all-action style fight anyways. So I think that one would work. But that's trumped. That's only if the other 2 fights that I think are possible ahead of Gutierrez can't happen. Number 2, the second best possibility, in my opinion, is sadly a Shavkat Rakhimov fight. And I say sadly because Zelfa Barrett, because he lost to Rakhimov, does not deserve the shot over Rakhimov more. Rakhimov beat Zelfa Barrett, and his fight with Cordina was razor thin. So, in my opinion, Cordina should fight Rakhimov, let Zelfa Barrett build him back up, and let Barrett fight the winner. But, hey, I don't think that's what's going to happen. But I do think a rematch is very possible if the top option, which is Zelfa Barrett, does not happen. Zelfa Barrett, I really believe the reason this fight goes down is because it's an all-UK battle. Eddie Hearn's a UK, it's a UK platform matchroom, and he wants to push his guys hard. And you know what, Zelfa Barrett, I can't say he doesn't deserve the shot. I just don't think he deserves it over Rakhimov. But he was doing very well against Rakhimov. He was beating him on the scorecards until his apparent leg injury led to a TKO loss in the 9th round. But be that as it may, he still lost to Rakhimov, which is why I don't think he deserves a shot over Shavkat Rakhimov. But I don't have a problem with him getting the shot either, because I do believe that Eddie Hearn's going to keep it in-house, and the winner would likely fight Rakhimov next. So that's it. That's what I got. That's my what's next on the undefeated and now 2-time IBF super featherweight champion at 130 pounds, Joe Cordina. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the like button, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate any and all support. This is True Boxing. You've been here with the truth.